everyone. So now is the time for a review of the longest movie title of 2023, being Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world. This movie is PG-13, comes in at 2 hours and 9 minutes long, directed by George Tillman Jr., and it stars Chris Davis, Jasmine Matthews, Sullivan Jones, and of course this Chris Davis is playing George Foreman. So this is the life and boxing career of George Foreman. That is all IMDb gives us for a synopsis. So yes, without further ado, let's get into the review for Big George Foreman. But going into this movie, I did not know a ton about, of course, George Foreman. I knew a little bit about his boxing career. Of course, I have watched the Rumble in the Jungle. I was very, very excited for them to showcase that fight within this. But his early life, and especially to his time of retirements before coming back into the fray of boxing, I had no idea about. My friends and I were joking that we were hoping this was going to be the origin story of the George Foreman grill sort of thing. So didn't know too much about him. And honestly, he does have a very, very fascinating story, and one that I do think really deserves to be told. Again, to the oppression that he had to grow out of course, the struggles that he had with growing up in an extremely poor family where dinner was one single burger split 4 ways. And I'm just talking about like a plain hamburger from McDonald's or something, it looked like, is what they were eating. Again, to being bullied in school, was absolutely bullied in school, bullied, not having equal opportunity to, again, to just find his way in life, and into finding himself through the sport of boxing from almost like a military type job that he was involved in. People saw him fight, and one of, again, to just the kind of supervisors of this facility that he was working in saw the potential in him, took him on, and yeah, he became the heavyweight champion of the world twice. And again, too, I had no idea just the power of God and spirituality that came over him. I had no idea that part of his life. So again, too, it's a really, really amazing story that I think was just I'm surprised we hadn't seen the movie yet, because of just, again, too, how good of a into just how great of a story he has. The only thing is that I find this movie is just way too much of a generic and by the numbers boxing movie and by the numbers Christian movie about someone finding their faith and just reshaping their whole life. Again, too, I find that there would have been so many better ways to show and tell his life and actually dive more into his life, and again, too, just the struggles that he faced. It's very, very generic and surface value of, again, too, just the systemic problems and just the problems that he faced growing up. There's not a lot of commentary, a lot of showing, but just I felt like there really needs to be more meat behind of what they were showing us with his life. And this would have been a very, very, it is a powerful movie, but even more so of a powerful movie. The acting in it is absolutely fantastic all the way throughout. Even the fellow that they got to play Muhammad Ali does such an amazing job, and recreating these fights was done in a really, really good way too. But I just found that a lot of the times the cinematography wasn't quite what it needed to be. There's a lot of sequences where there's just way too many cuts, so camera angles bouncing around all the time. For, again, to a boxing movie, you have to show the fights in a way that really showcases the talents of the stunt team, the actors, and again, too, just the ring itself. There's some great scenes where, again, too, where he's in the ring and you can see him looking up even the poster of this movie, and you can see like God shining down on him and guiding his life, guiding his new fighting career. But again, too, there's just so many times where that magic just isn't showcased within this movie, especially within the editing process. And again, too, it does take, again, too, with a very, very surface value of his story. And again, too, just a lot of these mistakes when it comes to the directing, the editing, it just really has a way to take you out of the movie. Again, this is a great, fantastic story with amazing acting that I do highly recommend, especially too, if you didn't know the spiritual side of George Foreman, which I had no idea. I thought it was absolutely fascinating, and it's, again, to help me connect with my spirituality. But again too, it's just done in a way that you've seen in so many movies countless times and just done better. So again too, if they would have gone into a little bit of the meat, and I don't know what creative liberties they took within his story, but again too, it just, a lot of the times it just came off as way too generic of a movie, which of course sports and films about spirituality have the tendency to do so, and unfortunately this film's that trap. But again too, fantastic in a lot of ways. I did enjoy the fights for the most part. They're very, very quick, very, very short, just basically show you the or they recreate the highlight reels of, again to, the actual fights themselves. So they're very, very short and just give you enough to know what happened during most of the fights, but they are decently well done, and of course the acting just really drives this movie. So with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give Big George Foreman 7 out of 10. It's pretty much all that I can say about it now. So of course, if you've seen this movie, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below, and of course if you liked this review, definitely give it a thumbs up. You can check out everything I do in this channel through a playlist down below, and I'll link some up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing, and turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. If you want to check out the description of this video in my channel bio, there's a link to the Medium Answer, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can join that amazing community, help making it more amazing than this already, and yeah, just awesome, guys.